So, let's talk about AI in the workplace. Is it this miracle tool that's going to supercharge our productivity, or is it, just creating more chaos and confusion? It's one of the biggest questions out there today. Okay, let's dive in and really try to demystify what's going on with AI on the job. And boom, right out of the gate, we hit the central problem. This one quote just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures this massive disconnect we're going to explore. You've got executives who are betting the farm on AI, but the people on the ground, the employees actually using this stuff, are feeling more friction than flow. So what's going on? Why is there such a huge gap between the corner office and the cubicle? Okay, so to figure out why that gap exists, we've got to get on the same page about what we even mean by AI at work, because it has moved way beyond just being a buzzword. It's already deeply woven into how we get things done. So what are we actually talking about here? Because AI isn't just one thing, right? It's this whole ecosystem of technologies. But for what we're seeing in the workplace today, there are really two big ones you need to know about. All right, first up, you've got machine learning. You can think of this as the brain, the part that learns. It chews through massive amounts of data to find patterns and make predictions. This is the stuff that's been humming along in the background for years, powering things like fraud detection or even your spam filter. And then, of course, there's the one everyone's buzzing about, generative AI. This is the creative genius of the bunch. We're talking ChatGPT, right? These are the systems that don't just analyze information, they create it. They're writing emails, building reports, even writing code. This is the AI that's suddenly right in front of us on our desktops. And look at this, it really shows you just how everywhere AI already is. HR is using it to screen resumes, finance uses it to flag weird expenses, marketing is creating these super personalized campaigns. The point is, this isn't some far-off future thing. It's happening right now in basically every department. Okay, so now that we're clear on what it is, let's dive into why the bosses are so excited. What's the big promise of AI that's got companies pouring billions of dollars into it? Well, it really boils down to this list right here. We're talking about boosting revenue, obviously, but also turning these mountains of raw data they have into actual smart decisions. It's about creating these incredible personalized experiences for customers and, ideally, freeing up employees from all that boring, repetitive work. It's all about getting that competitive edge and just innovating way, way faster. And if you're wondering where it's making the biggest waves right now, well, here you go. A McKinsey report shows that marketing and sales are way out in front. But look how close product development and supply chain are. This isn't just some back office efficiency tool. It's right at the heart of how businesses grow and function. I love this quote from Morgan Stanley. It just nails the ideal vision for AI. The co-pilot. It's not there to replace the pilot. It's there to assist, to inform, to make the human expert better, faster, and smarter. But and this is the key part, the human is always in control. That's the dream scenario. Okay, so that's the dream. But what's the reality on the ground? Let's flip the coin and look at the other side of this double-edged sword. The very real human challenges that are stirring up so much fear and, honestly, chaos. Let's start with a big, scary number. The World Economic Forum predicts that 85 million jobs could be displaced by automation. 85 million. That's the number that really fuels the fear and the resistance you see out there. It's a huge, disruptive figure, and we just can't pretend it doesn't exist. But wait, hold on, because in that exact same report, they also predict that 97 million new roles will be created. So you see, this isn't a story about just losing jobs. It's a story about jobs transforming, a massive, fundamental shift in the kind of work that needs to be done. And what does all that change lead to? Well, this right here, a massive and growing skills gap. The skills that got you your job today might not be the skills you need for the jobs of tomorrow, and that's a huge problem. And this really brings us full circle back to that crazy disconnect we saw at the start. I mean, just look at these numbers. Practically everyone, 90% of companies, are using AI in some way, but over 80% of those projects are failing. And get this, only a tiny 4% actually feel ready to scale it up. There's a giant canyon between trying AI and actually succeeding with it. So why? What's going on? Is the tech just bad? No. The data is super clear on this. The problem isn't the technology. It's us. It's the people. It's those skills gaps we just talked about. It's a culture that's resistant to change. It's a fundamental lack of trust in these new systems. It's like we're trying to install futuristic software on a computer running Windows 95. The hardware, the organization itself, just can't keep up. So how do we fix this? How do we finally bridge that gap between the promise and the reality? Well, it all starts at the top, with leadership. The way leaders lead has to fundamentally change. That old school, top-down, do-as-I-say leadership model, it just completely breaks in an AI-powered world. The shift we need is huge. It's moving away from just managing tasks and towards mentoring people through change. It's moving from a rigid hierarchy to a culture that's built on transparency and trust. You know, IBM actually laid out a really great practical roadmap for leaders, and I think it's worth looking at. But notice what's so important here. This isn't just a tech checklist. It's about figuring out your business goals first. It's about looking at your people's capabilities, not just your data. And my favorite part? Start small, test things out, build that trust before you try to go big. And that right there brings us to what might be the most crucial piece of this entire puzzle, getting the whole workforce ready for this change. This isn't just a job for the C-suite. This is an all-hands-on-deck mission. To get this right, you have to understand two key ideas: reskilling and upskilling. They sound similar, but they're different. Reskilling is about training someone for a totally different job. Think of a data entry clerk learning to become a data analyst. Upskilling, on the other hand, is about boosting someone's current skills so they can master their job as it changes with AI. You absolutely need both. Now, this is so insightful because it shows you that a one-size-fits-all training program just won't cut it. You have to break down your workforce. The engineers who are actually building the AI, they need deep technical training. But the managers who are integrating it into their team's workflows, they need something different. And the frontline staff who are just using the tools, they need something else entirely. A tailored approach is literally the only way this works. So when you boil it all down, the success formula is actually pretty clear. It's this: for every single dollar you spend on AI technology, you need to invest another dollar in the humans who are going to use it. That's how you de-risk your investment. That's how you actually see those productivity gains everyone's chasing. And really, this is where we're all heading. AI is becoming less of a tool that we just use and more of a teammate that we collaborate with. It's not about man versus machine anymore. It's about man with machine. So the real question for all of us isn't, is AI coming for my job? The real question is, how am I going to collaborate with my new teammate?